It's October, and that means it's playoff baseball, and of course, the Houston Astros taking care of business as usual. They are the American League Division West champions again for the sixth time in 7 years, and in each of the past 6 full seasons, 162 games, the Astros have won the division every single time. We've seen this story with the Astros. They just find a way to get it done somehow, some way. This year, it was a very difficult road. It was very tough, and they won it on the very last day after normally winning it, a week or two before. It took the last day of the regular season, but they sweep the Diamondbacks. They win that final game of the season 8-1. Then they won 1-0 the previous night and 2-1 before that. And with the Mariners beating the Rangers 1-0, the Astros found a way to clinch the division, and the Texas Rangers saw the Astros win the division from right under their noses. So they are the kings of the American League West to continue the October tradition. Playoffs for a 7th straight year. I'm going to be telling you guys why I think the Astros are the most dangerous team in the American League and even the postseason.
You're my first interview since I got injured, so you're lucky. You're a good journalist.
You can compare your swing, the good one and the bad one, so you can see like the difference.
I'd like to notice that, man.
I love it, man. I appreciate how good. Glad that makes me feel.
Can't wait, to be honest.
Like we were talking about AL West champs 2023, I think it's an incredible run. This Astros team is having a run that you just may not see again. Team had a low chance of winning the division just a couple of weeks ago after they got swept by the Kansas City Royals at home, but they pulled it out somehow. Thanks to the Mariners. Thank you to them. With 6 games left, the Astros' chances did not look good, but they had 6 games left on the road. Mariners, D-backs, both teams were looking in the playoffs at that point, but the team clutched up. I mean, they've done this before. And with the Astros, I'm predicting that they'll get to the World Series. It'll be tough, but once they get to the World Series, it'll probably be more difficult because you're probably going to be facing the Braves. But why I think the Astros are the most dangerous team in the postseason, it's simple. I mean, they've been there, they've done that. They have the experience, they have a plethora of players who have been able to come up big when they need to. And last year that started up with Jeremy Pena and Yordan Alvarez. And then you had Kyle Tucker chipping in well. You had Alex Bregman doing his thing. You had Jose Altuve heating up a bit late. And on the pitching side, you had Justin Verlander, you had Framber Valdez, you had Christian Javier, you had an elite bullpen. And the Astros have the same ingredients this year. The proven championship players, they are the defending champs, and there's no reason to think otherwise why they should not be able to make the World Series. Number 2 seed, I think the Orioles are going to be tough, but they split the series versus the Orioles. The reason the Astros are even in this position is because of Mauricio Dubon. Got to give him credit. Alvarez had some big hits in the Seattle series. Maldi was really good down the stretch. The starting pitching did well enough to be able to get this playoff spot. Justin Verlander, he got 2 out of those 5 wins. And this team, they have the most experience in the American League. I mean, no other team is as experienced as these guys are. Braves are the best team overall, but the Astros have proven to do it over and over. And the offense is there. They have the rest. They have what it takes, man. They just have it. It's as simple as that. Let's talk a little bit about the offense, which I think is looking really good heading into the postseason. I think especially Jose Abreu. At a great time, Jose Abreu, the first baseman that the Astros got during the offseason when they weren't re-signing Yuli Gurriel. They got Jose Abreu, the 2020 AL MVP, an all-star. He had 18 home runs, 90 RBIs to close out the year for Abreu. Did not start off great, but he heated up down the stretch, found a way to get to those 90 RBIs. This year they're led by the offense. We know that. The starting pitching just has not been there compared to last year. The offense put up gigantic numbers versus the Rangers earlier this year. 39 runs in 3 games. 10 grand slams for this team. They lead the American League in that category. Kyle Tucker is the American League leader in RBIs with 112. Yordan Alvarez hit 31 home runs this season, even while missing a good chunk of games. You had Altuve hitting above 300 really well. Alex Bregman played 161 games. Jeremy Pena was not that great, but he made some great defensive plays. Chas McCormick was a huge key for this team in center field and in the outfield in general. 273 average for Chas, 22 home runs and 70 RBIs with 19 stolen bases and 842 OPS. Those are great numbers. Chas McCormick gave this team a huge boost in the middle. They're just going to have to continue to deliver. Scored 5 runs, and then you scored 8 runs versus the Mariners. You scored 8 runs in the last game versus the Diamondbacks. The Astros overall as a team, 4th in batting average, 5th in RBIs. You got to keep in mind, this team started out really slow offensively, and these numbers are still top 10. 3rd in hits, 7th in home runs, and then don't forget about Michael Brantley returning to the Astros as well. And of course, you talk about this offense, they're playing good. They're playing really, really good at this point in time with the experience that they have. And that starts off with the face of the franchise, Jose Altuve, who had an incredible year this year. And he hasn't regressed. He just improved this year. He missed a good chunk of games, over 70 games this season, I believe, to start the season. And he didn't miss a beat in 2023. He accomplished so many incredible things this year. Starting off with the 2,000 hits. That was a huge moment for Jose Altuve. And then you go to his first ever cycle. He got that in Fenway Park. Finished that off with a home run outside of the stadium. And then we saw what he did against the Texas Rangers, an historic 4 home runs in 4 straight at-bats. And that was his first regular season 3-run home run game. That was incredible. I believe he had 5 home runs in 6 at-bats or something of that against the Rangers, which is insane. He led the team with a .311 average, 17 home runs, 51 RBIs, which is actually pretty good for how much he played. 915 OPS in 90 games, and of course you know what he's done in the postseason, 23 home runs, which is second all time. Now the pitching for the Astros, we got to that. The starting pitching has not been ideal for this team. It starts off with Framber Valdez and Christian Javier. Both of these guys have not done as well as they would have liked to, especially Christian Javier, who has not thrown well for the majority of the season, but he's shown up in big games before. Javier was 10-5 this season with a 4.5 ERA, 159 strikeouts in 162 innings. So you need him to play well, just hasn't been there. Framber has struggled recently, had his first no-hitter this year. But if he can lock in, he's one of the best pitchers in the game. 12-11, a 3.45 ERA this season with 200 strikeouts and 198 innings. So Framber is going to be pitching Game 2 against the Twins in the division series. We'll see what he can do. JV Game 1, Framber Game 2. Justin Verlander 7-3 with Houston so far after starting out so great with the New York Mets. Had 13 innings combined, 1 earned run against the Diamondbacks and Mariners in the final 2 games. So that was clutch. These guys perform in the clutch. You have Jose Urquidy. Of course, you know what he is. 3 World Series wins. He pitched well. You have JP France this year, who really came in and pitched well. 3.83 ERA, 11-6 record, 101 strikeouts, 1.36 WHIP. So you have a lot of options for this team, and they've done it before, so no reason to think why they just can't do it. Hunter Brown couldn't be coming out of the bullpen, even without McCullers and Luis Garcia. And finally, I'd like to spotlight Mauricio Dubon, who was the Astros hero this year. They don't win the division without this guy. He subbed in for Altuve to start the year when Jose was recovering from injury, and then he delivered with timely hitting, elite defense, career year at 10 home run, 46 RBI year, had a .338 average his last 30 games with a .278 overall percentage. I think he might win Utility Player of the Year. And then we have Gainer Diaz, who was really clutch, primarily as a bench guy. Could have been in American League Rookie of the Year convo if Dusty Baker would have flat out played him more, which was a wrong decision by Dusty Baker. He had 23 home runs, which is 3rd most for a rookie in Astros history, 838 OPS and a 278 average in just 104 games that he played in. So 61 RBIs. He had a great potential. We'll see, he might get a couple of chances in the postseason. Only 42 chances as a starting catcher this year. He'll be more next year. So overall, when you look at the Astros, they are an elite team that found a way to get it done, and I just think they have all the pieces to get it done. That's why they're the most dangerous team in the playoffs.